Hey everyone, happy college football. Welcome to Porcelain Picks. I'm your host, Andrew Fabian, and it's a Friday afternoon just ahead of Week 12 action. It's sunny out. Paternity leave is in full swing. We are ready to go here at Porcelain Picks. Coming in with a record of 108 and 99. We are in the green. We're going to stay in the green the rest of the year because we at Porcelain Picks are focused on bringing you the locks you need as you scroll atop the porcelain throne. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you comment, like, dislike, engage with us in any way. Tell us where we're right, where we're wrong, and we'll be accountable to you in our porcelain audit on Monday or Tuesday of next week. All right, let's dive into the action. We've got no Friday games this week, Week 12, but we do have a big slate on Saturday. All right. A week jam-packed with a lot of discussion over the course of the last week. College football playoffs came out with their latest ranking. A lot of crying over where the SEC is, a lot of claims for Big Ten bias, a lot of SEC bias, all that whining that goes on week in and week out throughout the season. But we put that to rest when the games are in play on Saturday. We're going to start with a game that teeters on the outside of that. Liberty at UMass. UMass, one of the worst teams in college football. They come in at 2-7, hosting a Liberty team who's favored by 14 in this game. UMass coming off a 25-point defeat at the hands of Mississippi State, the worst team in the SEC. Liberty's frankly a better team than Mississippi State, and it's not close. I'm going to go with Liberty. -14, lock it, flush it, start Saturday afternoon off right. Then we'll go to the Pac-12. We've got Utah and Colorado, a noon kickoff Eastern time, 10 o'clock Mountain time. Colorado is an 11-point favorite at the time of this recording, quietly putting together a great season here. They're out of the limelight. They're getting the job done on the field. Deion's got these guys up for every game. This will be no different. Colorado's got the entire season ahead of them, all the goals that they've sought out, and then some. They could still clinch the college football playoff with a Big 12 championship. Everything's in their court right now. They're hosting Utah. Utah coming off a devastating defeat where their athletic director inexplicably complained about the refs in the Big 12 after that game. We've got that loss to BYU was really just a demoralizing loss. Utah is playing with their backup quarterback. They've got Isaac Wilson starting. Cam Rising is out for the year. They come limping into this game. But their defense has been the strong suit of this team. Colorado, I think, is going to be too much for them, though. I think Colorado blows them out in this game in front of their home crowd. Take the Buffaloes, -11. Deion's crazy season continues. Lock it and flush it. All right, let's jump. Texas at Arkansas. Arkansas is the darling of a lot of folks who were talking about power ratings. Arkansas is a 12.5-point dog at home hosting Texas. Texas is in a situation where they've got to get a big win here. They got that defeat at the hands of Georgia a couple weeks ago at home. A lot of talk about how Texas hasn't beaten up on any good teams so far, and this is their chance against Arkansas as a 12.5-point favorite. Quinn Ewers must protect the football if they're going to win this game against Arkansas. Arkansas ranks 5th in the country in explosive plays on offense, believe it or not. They come in healthy off a rest. I think they're going to show up here against Texas. I think this is a historic old rivalry renewed when both teams were members of the old Big 12 or Big 8 conference back in the day. Arkansas gave Texas fits when they came into Arkansas as the favorites. I think this is going to happen again. I think Arkansas keeps this game tight. Texas ultimately wins. It's going to be a 3-point game or a 7-point game, but take the Razorbacks +12.5 to keep this one close. Lock it and flush it. All right, Clemson at Pitt. Clemson in a must-win situation if they want to keep their ACC and college football playoff hopes alive. Pitt, on the other hand, their dream season came to a screeching halt. They've kind of been going the opposite direction. Clemson, obviously, with that bad defeat a couple weeks ago. Take the under in this game. I think Clemson gets the lead. Pitt's not going to be able to put up points. Their season's been great so far. They're 7-2, better than anyone expected. But I think Clemson wins this game in a lower scoring affair. It's going to be something like 24-14. So take the under 53.5. Lock it, flush it. All right, Tulane at Navy. Big matchup here. A couple weeks ago, I thought this was going to have a little bit more implications on the conference tournament chase. But Navy comes in their last 3 games. They have 2 losses and then a win over a terrible South Florida team. Tulane, I think, could be one of the best group of 5 teams, if not the best. Take Tulane, -6.5. They win by 10 or more. Lock it, flush it. Mercer at Alabama. Yes, you heard that right. Alabama is playing Mercer this week. I usually stay away from games like this with the monster spreads. Bama's a 41.5-point spread right now, a favorite right now. I see them coming out and just laying the stomp on Mercer, as many teams could. But I think Bama is going to get out to a big lead in the first half, 35-0. Look for a halftime score, something like that. Mercer may put some points on the board in the second half, but Bama's going to have a chance to get into their two deep. They're going to continue playing hard and putting up points. Don't be surprised if they win by something like 55 to 6, something along that front. So take Bama to roll, minus 41.5, lock it, flush it. All right. Cuse at Cal. We've got a 3 p.m. start in this game, the Pac-12 affair. Cal has been a really surprisingly good team this year. Cuse has been a good story as well, struggling a bit as of late. I see this game where Cal comes in right now, an 8.5-point favorite, over-under set at 57.5. I see this being a high-scoring game. I think Kyle McCord, if he can protect the football, is going to have a great day airing the ball out. Cal has a stingy defense, but they're better against the run, so look for Cuse to try to air it out against that good defense. And then Cal can score as well. We know Cuse can score. Syracuse's defense is not good, giving up about 28 points a game. So look for this to be a high-scoring affair in California. Over 57.5 is the pick. Lock it, flush it. All right, what you've been waiting for, Joey Mack. He's got 2 MACtion locks for this week. This is the lock of the week coming from Joey Mack. Make sure you follow this one. We've got Sam Houston State at Kennesaw State. Kennesaw State's a 16.5-point dog, over-under set at 43.5. Sam Houston State is just really terrible on offense. 33 points put up over the course of the last 3 games, but they do have a stout defense. Their last 2 games have gone 10-7 and 9-3. Those are final scores. Kennesaw State's a terrible team as well. Look for this to be a low-scoring affair. Take Kennesaw State plus 16.5. And also take the under 43.5. Lock them both, flush them both. Joey Mack on fire. He's going to keep it going there for us. Boston College at SMU. SMU, one of the most underrated teams in college football, in my opinion, right now. They've got a strong strength of schedule. They've got 1 loss to that undefeated BYU team. Take SMU in this game, minus 19.5. I think they come out with something to prove, getting themselves projected up into the top 10 of the college football rankings next week. Boston College, you saw the controversy around them. Their quarterback Castellanos was benched, and then he left the team. Part of the, just the wussification of some of these athletes not standing the test of the season with their teammates. So look for Boston College with all that turmoil to just slip up in this game. SMU is going to win this by at least 3 touchdowns. Lock it, flush it. LSU at Florida. Florida, two different sides of the story here. So Florida has 3 straight losses, but they've lost to Tennessee. They lost to Georgia, played both teams tough. They just got walloped by Texas without their starting quarterback, DJ Lagway. LSU just got boat raced by Alabama. Absolutely did not show up under the lights at home. I picked LSU in Death Valley. Man, they were the stinker of the week last week. That team did not even show up. They were embarrassed. It's going to be tough to get back up off the mat after that defeat. Florida, only a 4-point dog right now at home, and that's because DJ Lagway is playing in this game. Again, he held them tight with Tennessee and with Georgia before going down with that injury against Georgia. They were a different team last week against Texas without DJ. They get boat raced on their own accord by Texas there. But look for Florida to bounce back in a big game for them as they fight for bowl eligibility. Obviously, LSU's got their whole season in front of them. They could still win the SEC. They could still make the college football playoff, even though I have them eliminated. They have 2 losses. Only 1 in conference, so they could theoretically make that run and make the playoffs. So both teams a lot to play for. I just think Florida shows up in front of their home fans. +4 is the pick. Lock it, flush it. Don't be surprised, and don't be scared to take Florida money line, but we're going to stick with the points here at +4. Lock it, flush it. All right, let's move to the night action. We've got Tennessee at Georgia, biggest game of the week. A lot of controversy over where Georgia was ranked, or I should say a lot of whining over where Georgia was ranked after getting demolished by 18 points and just outplayed in every facet against Ole Miss. A little bit of I'm a little confused by that, but in any event, Georgia's got their season ahead of them still. They can prove it on the field, and they could start this weekend hosting Tennessee under the lights. Nico, quarterback for Tennessee, he's going to be a game-time decision. He's doubtful right now. I think that's going to play into this game being a lower-scoring game. The over-under right now is set at 47.5. You see I'm wearing my Tennessee orange hat. Go Vols. Not a Tennessee fan. Story for a different day, but I do cheer for the Vols. I think this spread right now is a little bit too high. Georgia minus 9.5. It could go up if Nico is ruled out. But look for this game to be under. Look for it to be a bit tight early. Georgia's been slow out of the gate. If you're I may be actually betting the first half under on this game, but my pick is the full game under 47.5. Lock it, flush it. Look for Tennessee, whether Nico's playing or not, to struggle to move the ball against Georgia. They're going to have to rely on Dylan Sampson in that running game. Georgia's without a lot of star power at the wide receiver position. They're also without Trevor Etienne, their starting running back. So look for a lower scoring game here in Athens as Georgia wins a tight battle with Tennessee. All right, move on. Missouri at South Carolina. South Carolina not getting a lot of love really for what they've put together the last few weeks. South Carolina's quietly back in the hunt. They're 6-3. They're putting together a good streak here. 3 straight wins, crushing Texas A&M, crushing Vandy, crushing Oklahoma. Before that, they lost by 2 on that crazy Alabama game in Bama. So South Carolina's a legit football team this year. Ball wasn't breaking their way early to start the year, but look for them as the 13.5-point favorite to wipe the floor with an overrated, underperforming Missouri team. This team has only 2 losses, should be more. They played a weak SEC slate so far. They haven't faced any of the big dogs. South Carolina is gonna destroy Missouri here. Minus 13.5. I look for South Carolina to win by 20 plus. Brady Cook's out for Missouri. Their offense just is really inept. They're not going to be able to move the football against South Carolina. So lock that one, flush that one. That's also a locksmith's lock of the week with PTC picking that game as well. Boise State at San Jose State. Over 61.5 is your pick. Boise State has Ginty, the best running back in all of college football. He's going up against the San Jose State defense that is poor against the rush. And then on the flip side, San Jose State has a great passing game. They've got the leading wide receiver in receptions and yardage in all of college football, and they're going against a poor Boise State pass defense. So I think 2 things are going to give here. I think we're going to get a high-scoring, low defensive play output affair, over 61.5. Lock it, flush it. All right, another Joey MACtion lock of the week. We got Southern Miss at Texas State. The pick is under 56.5. Southern Miss is 130th out of 134 teams in the country on offense. They are terrible on the offensive side of the ball. Texas State is a better team. Their defense has caught fire as of late. Southern Miss is going to be locked down in this one. Texas State's going to win a 35-7 type game. So take the under, 56.5, lock it, flush it. All right, another big game here. We got the number 1 team in the land, Oregon, traveling to Camp Randall to face Wisconsin under the lights. That was not really an issue earlier in the year for Alabama nor for Penn State, but Wisconsin comes in at plus 14.5 right now, hosting Oregon. The thing to watch out for here is Oregon is now playing their 8th consecutive game without a bye week. They have a very late second bye. It's coming after this game, so they're trying to get through Wisconsin to that bye so that they can set themselves up to be healthy the rest of the way for a college football playoff push. But 8 straight games, that takes a lot out of teams. And Oregon has been up to the test every single week. But this is also Dan Lanning and crew's 3rd time throughout that stretch where they've been traveling 2+ time zones away out of that Pacific time zone. And they're going to face a raucous Wisconsin crowd in this one. These guys show up no matter whether this team is good or bad. They're 5-4 right now, so they're not awful, but they haven't shown up yet in the big games. I do like Wisconsin here. I think it's a tough spot for Oregon right in front of that bye week. I think they're going to win. I don't think it's going to really be in doubt, but I like Wisconsin plus 14.5 with that number and the 2 touchdowns. I think this could be a lower scoring game that Oregon pulls away and wins 31-20, something like that. So lock it, flush it for the Badgers at home. All right, last pick of the night, the late game, Kansas at BYU. BYU underrated every step of the way. They're still undefeated. They pulled out some crazy victories that maybe they should have lost. Like the Utah game last week where they got gifted that penalty on their last drive where they pulled out the 1-point win. BYU's only a 2.5-point favorite right now at home under the lights. against a Kansas team that's sitting at 3-6 right now. But Kansas, the reason that is Kansas has the best version of Jalen Daniels back. He's been playing really well. Kansas is going to put up some points in this game. But I like BYU still. Looking at, they've been underrated by Vegas every single week. 2.5-point favorites. I think this is going to be a tight game, tighter than some people. If you just look at this on paper, the X's and O's, I think you'd think BYU would blow them away just by records. But I think Kansas keeps it close, but BYU pulls away. I think they win by 7 to 10 points. Take BYU in front of the home crowd, lock it, flush it, 2.5 points. Let's go. We're going to have a big week this week. Let's have a happy Saturday, everyone. For Joey Mack, for the Locksmiths, I'm Andrew Fabian. Happy college football.